the global Samud Flotilla, a convoy of ships bringing humanitarian aid to Gaza, is getting closer and closer to the shore, but coming under increasing attacks from swarms of drones in the Mediterranean. And meanwhile, starting to get backup from European powers, including Italy, which has said it is sending a naval ship to assist the flotilla, as well as Spain, which has said it also plans to intervene. There's some suggestions from Ireland that they may also get involved. So joining us now is my colleague over at Dropsite News, Alex Colston, from the Sirius is the ship you're still on. Is that right, Alex?
That's right. It's called the Sirius Haifa because the boats are also named after Palestinian towns.
Got it. So, and we apologize if any viewers get seasick from watching you kind of float up and down, but I imagine the seasickness is much worse among your crew. So I hope folks can just bear with us for the moment. So 2 nights ago, we saw the most serious attack yet on the flotilla, which footage of which we just showed. Can you talk a little bit about what you know at this point about what kind of attacks there were and what kind of damage there was?
Definitely. There were at least 12 attacks across 9 boats. One boat was attacked twice with flashbangs. I think about 4 were also attacked with flashbangs. One had a chemical capsule fall to the deck, spray a member of the crew, and then it fell into the water. The person sustained minor injuries. One of the flashbangs dismasted a boat, and that one was decommissioned, and so it's no longer sailing with us. And they started around midnight, and they continued till about 3 a.m. And around 3, they tapered off, but we were all concentrated together, and it was actually kind of a remarkable scene, which is that there was just the horizon and the boats, and then every so often there'd be an explosion, and we would try to capture it because there's a lot of incredulity about the threat that the boats are under, and so we are a bit at pains trying to document the extent of the attacks. I mean, the footage you shared is from a security camera, and those security cameras are there not merely for our security; it's to broadcast to the world that the boats are under attack.
I don't know why there would be incredulity about that, given that Israel is basically calling you Hamas. We can put this up on the screen from the Israeli foreign minister. This is C2, guys. They say, we have another proposal for the Hamas Samud Flotilla. If this is not about provocation and serving Hamas, you are welcome to unload any aid you might have at any port in a nearby country outside Israel from which it can be transferred peacefully to Gaza. Israel will not allow vessels to enter an active combat zone and will not allow the breach of a lawful naval blockade. Is this about aid or about provocation? Alex, how would you respond to that?
I believe this was the most recent statement that they made. They've made a handful of them at this point. I can tell you what the organizers say, and I can tell you what I make of that. But first, to say that the organizers all say uniformly that if this were true, if Israel was willing to facilitate aid, there would be no real reason for the flotilla to exist. There'd be no reason for us to have independent civilian efforts to break the siege and to get aid into Gaza. So if it's a provocation, the provocation is Israel should deliver the aid, but we know that they're not going to do that. We know that they're not going to deliver sufficient amounts of aid. They've funded UNRWA. They've implemented a deadly, quote unquote, humanitarian distribution mechanism that is helping to corral Palestinians, and then they are killed by Israeli forces. There's nothing to be believed in the statement that Israel is interested in facilitating aid to the people in Palestine.
What have you heard from either Spain or Italy, or what have the organizers heard, and what are they sharing with you? Have you started to see this Italian ship, which said it would be there for rescue, by the way? it made clear that it would be there for potential rescue, rather, which is distinct from saying we're going to be there to, offer defense to this flotilla. Have the organizers heard from these governments, or are these just statements that they're catching on social media, just like everybody else?
No, the members of the steering committee have met with members of the Spanish Parliament. There's an Italian member of Parliament on board who is in contact with the Italian government. These are active and ongoing negotiations with European governments to come to an understanding about what kind of protection or support these governments are going to provide. The Italian government, for instance, has said that they would facilitate the aid themselves via a Catholic charity. The organizers have rejected this proposal because the plan is to open up the humanitarian corridor. But at the same time, though, the organizers have also said that they welcome any and all governments to participate in facilitating the humanitarian mission. But the fact of the matter is that we are going to sail toward Gaza with or without a military escort.
Alex, how are you feeling at this point? On the one hand, you've got Israel outright attacking your boats and calling you Hamas. On the other hand, you do have at least a couple of European nations that are saying, hey, we're going to, make sure that you at least don't get killed. Just like as a human being, how are you feeling about your personal safety right now?
So. It's hard to say what's going to happen. And I say to myself, at least, and I think a lot of people agree, especially on the ship that I'm on, because we talk about it a lot. We're trying to do what governments won't do, and that requires a certain level of conviction and courage and commitment. And at the same time, whatever we do and whatever we're able to succeed at doing and trying to opening a humanitarian corridor, it's minimal. And next to the courage of Palestinians who face being killed every day. So I feel a little bit like I don't want to be over alarmed. I am nervous, and at the same time, I think the standard that has been set for courage is not with governments, but with the Palestinian people.
And I think that's good of you to say, but at the same time, there's no such thing as a courage Olympics, and we all have one life on this planet, and whether you lose it in Gaza or on a ship because Israelis are sending some message, you've still lost a life. So, I would discourage people from, and including yourself, from discounting, what it is that you guys are going through. How are the rest of the people feeling going? It feels like a bit of a roller coaster. 2 nights ago, it seemed like they were presaging a much more violent attack. And then the intervention of the Spanish and the Italian navies seems like, how was last night? It seems like last night was fairly quiet, which went against the expectations and may have had something to do with the intervention of the Europeans. How was last night?
It was low key by comparison to the night before. The waters that we're sailing into are increasingly getting more rough because there's a storm between Greece and Gaza, and we're making preparations for that. I just to respond to the other thing that you said, I think for me at least, we can control what we can control on this boat, which is that to demonstrate that we're a humanitarian mission, we're nonviolent, we're committed to humanitarian aid, and everyone on board is also extremely conscientious and well organized, and we take care of each other, and as it said, we protect us. And I think in that respect, I have to have trust in that. And I have to believe that the solidarity among the people on board and across the organization is enough to sustain our attempts. And I actually do believe in that quite firmly. I don't Of course, I'm worried for my personal safety. And of course, and I think even more than that, and this is what all the organizers and crew members say on board, we're far more concerned about one another. Like in the case of an Israeli interception, right? I think most of our impulse is to put our hand in front of someone and prevent them from being harmed by Israeli soldiers, or not let them be dragged off or harassed. We're under strict orders not to do that, so that we don't provoke the Israeli military. And I want to say that that's harder for me, at least, than to imagine being personally assaulted or whatever. Like, I just want to say that I think that's worth underlining, actually, that there is a real spirit of solidarity. That's a matter of protecting those around us as we have this very high risk action that we're taking.
Alex, my last question to you, at least, is, what's your fondest wish for what you're able to accomplish here?
My fondest wish.
Yeah, what would be the best possible outcome?
So that we make it to Gaza, for one. That European governments, if not the United States government, I don't have much faith in that.
Yeah,
would help facilitate opening a humanitarian corridor, that the ships that are following behind us will be able to maintain and keep it open so that there is a humanitarian corridor by sea, and that the Israeli government will be so overwhelmed by the public support for measures like this that real significant humanitarian aid can be given to the people in Gaza. And I actually don't think the last couple of days, especially with the naval vessels joining us, I'm starting to believe more and more that it's not a wish, that there are real developments taking place that are making it increasingly likely for that outcome. And again, I understand it will be a difficult thing to achieve, but at the same time, we are in completely uncharted waters here. Never has there been a military escort for any of these missions over the last 17 years during the blockade. Never has there been this much public pressure. So I would say the geopolitical situation is far more favorable, even if the winds aren't favorable for us for an outcome like that. So I actually don't want to treat it like a remote possibility. I want to treat it as a live and significant one.
Yeah. And also, while you're here, I'll put in a plug for the work you're doing for Dropsite. Alex, believe it or not, the entire time he's been on this boat has continued his editing duties for Dropsite, including our new newsletter, Dropsite Daily, which
impressive.
The time zone's actually good for you because, right, it's the time you're handling is less in the middle of the night. But it's always amazing. I'll wake up and see that Alex has already gone through like a full edit of the newsletter, and then he's on to editing further pieces. How's it been to continue normal life, so to speak, off the boat while being kind of surrounded by Israeli drones and in the middle of the Mediterranean and unable to see even a speck of land? Like, what's that experience been like?
I mean, I miss normal life a little bit.
I can imagine.
I think I mentioned this to you before, Ryan, but I mean, I grew up on boats. I'm not, I don't get seasick. I really enjoy being on boats. And trying to maintain both my day job and fix a toilet on the same day has been a bit difficult sometimes. But I've made a lot of friends, and I have comrades and people who I trust, and we have camaraderie, and we try to be happy and sing and stay afloat. And I don't know. I actually think compared to normal life, sometimes that's a lot better because it's not isolating. It's not atomizing. We're all in this in one mission and one purpose.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, we've got the newsletter and the editing from here on in. Just be safe, keep your head down.
Keep that toilet working.
Yeah, keep the toilet working, and just wishing you all the best in the last leg of this journey.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. We'll be following it closely, of course.
Thank you so much.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.